we have to start thinking about great power introduction here. What are the Russians going to do? What are the Chinese going to do? Right? What are the North Koreans going to do? The North Koreans are partners with Iran, we forget, and the North Koreans are very close with the Russians, and really the Russians, and they're also partnered with the Chinese. But military to military, the North Koreans are fighting alongside. In fact, I was told they have about 50,000 North Korean troops just sitting idle in Belarus. Okay, so this has all the makings, truly, of World War III. And in my view, we're right there when this pops from being just a regional issue to really global, especially once the economies start getting dragged down.
Shalom. Giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Makah HaKodash. Double honors to the elder apostles, a great millstone, do well. Peace, love, and blessings to the elect, scattered throughout abroad, wherever you may be. And also, want to give a special blessings to you brothers out on the highway and the byways, giving all diligence to make your calling and election sure. All right, as we approach we're in that time, all right, of the reward of salvation, all right, due to all your labor. But as you see, we just opened up with, from Canadian Prepper, World War III, man. I just want to hit the point, and then we get into some scriptures, and we'll make this quick. But we want to rewind this point that he said. Now, this is titled, Urgent, the Iran war is about to explode. And if you've been watching, all right, you can see that that's exactly what's happened because things have only been escalating. All right. So let's play this part again. I wanted to get.
There's also an Israeli connection to both. But we have to start thinking about great power introduction here.
So as you said, we have to start thinking about great power introduction, because right now it's just the U.S. against Iran. All right. But what about when Iran allies come in? Like you said, great power introduction. What about when Russia enters in and help Iran as America basically took over for Israel? Okay. So you say you have to, again, reiterate the point. You have to start thinking about great power introduction, where superpowers are introduced into the war. And I think Russia just put a plane, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in Tehran recently. All right, where like some top generals, and I think it was a doomsday plan, so they can have their communication can't be interrupted with the Iranians. Something of that point. All right, so let's continue.
What are the Russians going to do? What are the Chinese going to do? Right? What are the North Koreans going to do? The North Koreans are partners with Iran, we forget, and the North Koreans are very close with the Russians, and really the Russians, and they're also partnered with the Chinese. But military to military, the North Koreans are fighting alongside. In fact, I was told they have about 50,000 North Korean troops just sitting idle.
So they got bodies ready to go. All right. And people look at North Korea. Look, but regardless, North Korea has a nuke. And then look, North Korea has bodies ready to go. 50,000 just sitting, just ready. Bodies willing and ready to just go right into war. They don't need no draft. Okay? So that's more resistance. This is America isn't going to be able to handle this third world war. Okay?
Belarus. Okay? So, this has all the makings, truly, of World War III. And in my view, we're right there when this pops from being just a regional issue to really global, especially once the
World War III. And he said, especially once the economy start going down. Because now something got to be done about this. All right? Something has to be done. And these nations are going to have to make their move. Okay? So, let's get right into it. Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And he just said this has all the pieces to the puzzle. All right? All the pieces to the puzzle for a regional war. I'm sorry, a world war. Forgive me. from going to a regional war to a world war. All right, all the components are there. So we right there, man. We right there, literally, literally right there. Okay. Joel 3 verse 1, it says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when thou shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." It says NLT, it says, "And I will restore the prosperity of Judah and Jerusalem." All right, northern, southern kingdom, the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, the Lord is finna bring we in those days. For behold, in those days, here we go. That time I shall bring again a captivity of Jerusalem. It's like a little excited. When I shall bring again a captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, and the Lord did that by the word. Now here it is. The word, as scriptures say, at the end it shall speak and not lie. So starting from our apostles on down, that's been pushing his word. Now here it is. We at the end and it's speaking. The Lord is now actually doing these things. We prophesied of them. Now the Lord is doing them. All right, we in those times. So this is our prosperity coming back, man. Seeing our nations fall. So if somebody's falling, by default, somebody's coming up. And that's us. It says, "I will also gather all nations." We just went into how this is happening right now. All right. Where this is finna go be a world war. "I will also gather all nations, and I will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat." Yahweh Shaphat, the Most High's judgment, the Middle East over there. It says, "And I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." So the Lord said in the NLT, "There will I judge them for harming my people." So all nations had a hand in our downfall, man. All right, when we went into captivity, all nations benefited off of that. Okay? So the Lord is getting ready to judge them. This is the prosperity of Judah and Jerusalem, man. When you read in the days of old, our God actually fought for us, man. Roughly prayer, he said, "I'll subdue nations for thee. I overthrew kings for thee." So the Lord is going to do that again. It says, "And they have cast lots for my people." And it's going to the whole slavery, all right, the captivity, going into that history, okay? But I wanted to get more so into the prophecies, okay? So that's the history of the transatlantic slave trade in there, from about 3 to 7. Yep. So then here it is, the prophecies, the prophetic part. "And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the same." So the other nations are going to go into captivity. We're going to have a slave trade. All right. It says, "To people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it." Verse 9, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war." I say, get ready for war. And these nations know what time it is, man. It says, "Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up." In the NLT, it says, "Let all your fighting men advance for the attack. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." So even the weakest of the nations, the smaller, all right, what Trump will call shithole countries, I believe, but third world countries, all right, little small nations. North Korea got a nuke. Iran, look how powerful they are, right? America can't handle them. This war was supposed to be over, all right? Was supposed to be just over overnight, so to say. Okay, but here it is. Months and months later, this war is still going. So the weak is now being made strong. All right, and you could think Russia. You got Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. All right, Gog and Magog, where Russia and China basically are aiding these nations. You can see, look, they was holding Iran's hand with intelligence, okay, giving them the locations on certain strategic targets to hit in the Middle East, U.S. military bases, U.S. military infrastructure, U.S. military installations. Okay? They were receiving, all right, the coordinates to hit those things. From who? You need satellites for that. You know, Russia was the first one to ever launch a satellite into orbit. Okay? So Russia is helping them. It was information coming out that China was helping Iran. All right? So yes, it's about to go down. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. And in the midst, and who in the middle of all this world war? The ones who wear the small hats, man. I believe that's how Elder Malcolm said. The wearers of the small hats. They in the middle of all this ish again. They're the culprit. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. Gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Salakia. Let the heathen be wakened. Come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So that's what's getting ready to happen. The Lord is about to destroy these nations. Call Halal Yahweh Bashem Shai. Destroy Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America. And establish his kingdom here on the planet Earth. And then will we be in heaven. Then will we be in paradise, man. So call Halal Yahweh Bashem Shai. The water Yahweh Bashem Shai, man. All right. It's time to go. Let's go. Shalom.